Hello everyone. In today's selection I have gathered 10 worthy series news of the 24th year with completely different genres, which should definitely attract your attention. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Well, and we begin. In 10th place is the series Wild Cards. The plot is not new, it met in different variations. Charismatic con artist Max is caught in her scams, and to redeem herself, agrees to work for the police. Her new partner is police officer Cole, demoted and now forced to serve in the Marine Patrol. Max is an extraordinary person. She has connections among influential and wealthy people, and she is used to a luxurious life. She is self-confident and often teases the modest detective, who at first does not take her seriously. But if Max wants to avoid prison and return to normal life, she will have to learn to work with Cole, despite their differences. In 9th place is the series Oderbruch. In the small town of Oderbruch, two hunters unexpectedly stumble upon a terrifying mountain of human and animal bodies. This shocking event attracted public attention and forced the authorities to organize a thorough investigation. From the regional center to the site is sent Detective Roland, who grew up in this town and knows its inhabitants and every path perfectly. The second key character is Magdalena, a former policeman and Roland's longtime friend. Alarmed by the tragedy, she decides to conduct her own investigation, because what happened reminds her of the events of 20 years ago. There are several suspects, but the scope of the crimes is so terrible that even the worst nightmares could not prepare the police for the truth. And the main question remains: why didn't anyone notice the source of the evil that seems to have been around for years? The 8th place is occupied by the series Mr. Mrs. Smith. In each series, the main characters perform new tasks, so let's generalize. With the 2005 movie of the same name, the series has little in common. Yes, the spouses are spies, but in the movie they only eventually learned about each other's secret work, and here John and Jane get acquainted through their work. The characters first meet as a married couple in a house rented by their employer's mysterious organization, and are now forced to live in a sham marriage for the sake of missions. There are no stormy feelings between them like the characters in the movie, and it fits their personalities. John is the quiet one who prefers to start the day with meditation, and Jane is a withdrawn loner whom he will more than once call robot. The series leans more towards drama than action comedy, although there are some comedic inserts and scenes with chases, shootouts and fights. The first season, which has already been released in its entirety, has 8 episodes. The filming of the second season is still in doubt, but, in my opinion, the story looks complete and does not require continuation. The 7th place is occupied by the series Constellation. The story is about a female astronaut Jo, who conducts vital research on a space station. At one point she is left alone in orbit. Her colleagues are sent to Earth, but Jo's mission continues. When the station encounters an unknown object, Jo must evacuate urgently, while trying to salvage the results of the experiment. But soon she begins to see and hear things that should not exist in reality, and this raises doubts about her mental state among others. The plot takes us back to her time on the space station, then back to Earth, allowing us to gradually put together a puzzle of events that may reveal the main mystery of the series. Has something global happened in the surrounding world, or is it all an illusion, a dream and hallucinations of the heroine? The 6th place is occupied by a Korean miniseries with an intriguing title, A Shop for Killers. In the story, the little orphan Jien, left without parents, moves in with her mysterious uncle, who runs a small store and seems to be involved in some shady dealings. Without revealing details, he persistently prepares her for the hardships of his trade, developing in her independence and responsibility. Among the other lessons her uncle teaches Jien are survival skills and pistol shooting. So the years pass and the girl becomes an adult. One day she gets a call from the police asking her to come to identify her uncle, who is found dead in his own bathtub. She barely has time to say goodbye and bury him, as to his house begin to pull together killers of all kinds, ready for anything. Events begin to unfold rapidly, and Jien cannot understand what attracted so many dangerous people to their house and what is so famous for her uncle. To get answers to her questions, she must survive at all costs. The 5th place is occupied by the series Expats. Events unfold in Hong Kong, where the fates of 3 women intersect against the background of a common tragedy. The first heroine, Margaret, a mother of many children, who moved to Hong Kong for the work of her husband Clark. She is a landscaper, but there is no demand for her services, so she is busy raising 3 children. The second character is Hilary, a successful businesswoman of Indian descent who grew up in a well-to-do family and moved to Hong Kong from Australia. She is 40 years old, and she and her British husband have been trying to have a child for a long time. Hilary leads a sophisticated lifestyle. The third character is a young Korean-American woman, a graduate of Columbia University. Not finding herself in the United States, she went to Hong Kong, where she tries to find her place, takes any job and barely makes ends meet. The story begins when Margaret, beginning to suspect that her son is too attached to his nanny, decides to find a new one. So she meets a Korean woman who desperately needs money, and she accepts the job. After the interview, they all go to the night market, where the future nanny loses sight of Margaret's youngest son in the crowd. The search goes nowhere, and this event changes the lives of all 3 women forever. The 4th place is occupied by the series Gyeongseong Creature. The action unfolds in 1945, in the administrative district of Seoul, in the last year of Japanese colonial rule in Korea. While the locals live under oppression and dare not raise their heads, the protagonist, a pawnshop owner, successfully profits from it. For valuable information he is ready to pay any price, but there are those who do not want to pay. The Japanese police chief gives him a deadline to find his beloved before the cherry blossoms, otherwise the pawnshop owner may pay with his life. As his luck would have it, the father and daughter, the detectives who arrived in Gyeongseong in hopes of finding the woman, wife and mother who disappeared 10 years ago, agree to help him with the search. In the course of the investigation, the heroes find themselves in a hospital, a seemingly peaceful place where the sick are treated. However, in its basements there are horrifying experiments on people, and it is here that the very creature is born. The drama is full of atmosphere, dynamic plot and charismatic actors, immersing the viewer in the events from the very first frames, where we see drawings that foreshadow the development of the plot. In 3rd place is the series Boy Swallows universe. The action takes place in Australia in the 80s. The main character is 13-year-old Eli, a boy with a difficult childhood. He has an older brother August, who has stopped talking since the age of 8, only writes in the air and predicts the future, seeing images that then come true. Eli's mother is a drug addict. His stepfather is a drug dealer who often associates with dangerous people. The birth father is an alcoholic with panic attacks. Eli is friends with an ex-convict who sometimes looks after him. Around the guy, solid drug addicts and alcoholics, but despite this, he dreams of a different life and wants to become a criminal journalist. For a long time Eli does not think about the gravity of his situation and the fact that he has almost no chance for a normal future. The situation escalates when his mother goes to prison and his stepfather goes missing. The series is not without violent scenes. The harsh conditions of imprisonment and the grim life of drug dealers and gangsters are shown. Will the dream of the boy who grew up in such harsh conditions come true? You will find out the answer in the series. Second place goes to The Walking Dead. The Ones Who Live, the 6th spin-off into the Walking Dead universe. This time, the story centers entirely on the character Lincoln. Unlike other recent spin-offs, where the first series focused on the hero's new hardships, here the focus is on Rick himself. He finds himself held hostage by the Civil Republic, an authoritarian society with a powerful army. Once these people saved him, but now it has become almost impossible to escape from their environment. The Republic, created after the fall of civilization, prioritizes security and complete secrecy. The remnants of the army found a large city, sheltering hundreds of thousands of survivors, and barricaded themselves there. Since then, it is impossible to leave the city, lest anyone learn of its existence. All attempts to escape have failed. Rick, as a valuable fighter, is forced to join the army. He refuses, but an acquaintance suggests that becoming a soldier instead of a slave will give him a better chance of escape. Eventually Rick agrees to join the army, but his main goal remains the same, to escape. Will he be able to get out of the city, or will he have to resign himself to a new life in a new place? We will find out the answer to this question in the series. The first place in the rating was taken by the series Shogun. It is based on the story of a talented Englishman, a pilot sailor. He goes on a Dutch ship with a team that should rob the Portuguese settlement and pave the way to Japan to establish trade ties. However, events take an unexpected turn. The exhausted crew is taken prisoner by the Japanese, and the heroes miraculously avoid death. The protagonist, thanks to his abilities, gets into the service of the local feudal lord. John is waiting for exciting adventures, full of danger, and in his heart lives a dream to free himself from the hated captivity. Although the series has just begun, the first series was unexpectedly strong. The dynamic development of the plot, the atmosphere of the era, and the spirit of Eastern wisdom will not leave indifferent to any viewer. Especially if you like historical adventures. I hope everyone found something interesting in this issue. If not, write in the comments what movies you would add to this selection. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss new releases.